Everyone seems to say the same thing about Beast Gohan. They say it was an ass pull, that it came out of nowhere, and there was no buildup for it. And honestly, I understand. If you just watch the movie for what it is, it feels very sudden. But here's the thing, Beast Gohan didn't break any of Dragon Ball's rules. It actually followed them perfectly. And if you look at how Gohan has always been written, the transformation no longer looks random, and it actually just feels more inevitable. Stay with me now, because by the end of this video, I will prove to you that Beast Gohan was nowhere near an ass pull for Dragon Ball. And the real issue of Beast Gohan is actually something else entirely. Before I get into my reasoning, let's be fair first. This criticism doesn't come out of nowhere, and honestly, Gohan hasn't been super relevant in a while. He hasn't been training, and then suddenly he jumps into one of the strongest of the Z fighters in Dragon Ball Super. That honestly does feel like bad writing. And on top of that, the superhero movie in general just moves very fast. There's not a long arc buildup like there was in the Cell Saga. So I totally get the reaction of some fans. But this is where people are getting it wrong. They're confusing the movie-based pacing with bad writing, because when you actually break down Gohan as a character, it fits him perfectly. Now let's talk about how. Since the start of Dragon Ball Z, Gohan has not been a traditional Dragon Ball character. He doesn't obsess with power like Vegeta, and he's not obsessed with fighting like Goku. He just spikes out of nowhere, and he's literally been doing that since the first fight of Dragon Ball Z against Raditz. He explodes with power enough to damage someone that was making Goku look like a fool, and he was literally 4 at this time. He had 0 training experience. And then on Namek, he does the same thing. He gets these random bursts of energy once he's mad that completely change the fight. And in the Cell Saga, people remember it as this perfectly built up transformation, but even in the Cell Saga, his power comes from pure emotion and not hard work. Despite the hyperbolic time training, this was to get him to Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 2 came out of just pure raw emotion. Gohan has always had this hidden power. This is not a secret, and it only comes out when he's being pushed to a wall and pushed beyond his breaking point. So when people try and act like Beast Gohan came out of nowhere, no, that is literally how Gohan has always worked the entire series. And Beast Gohan isn't some new idea that Dragon Ball has. It's basically just Gohan modernized. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan wasn't about gradual growth into Super Saiyan 2. He literally learned Super Saiyan 2 the same week he learned Super Saiyan 1. It was about his emotional overload of the anger and the pressure that Cell had put on Gohan. And when he finally snaps, his power absolutely explodes. Beast follows the exact same structure throughout the Dragon Ball superhero movie. He starts out calm until he's pushed into a position that he can't ignore, with Pan getting kidnapped. Even when he gets back to Ultimate Gohan, it's because he thinks Pan is in danger. He has an instant transformation with a huge power boost that seemingly comes out of thin air. It is the exact same blueprint. The only difference really is the timing. The Cell Saga had an entire arc that built up to that exact moment. But in Dragon Ball Superhero, they have to compress it into a singular movie. So instead of it feeling like a slow burn to the transformation, it kind of feels like they're cutting corners and just jumping to this transformation. But the core mechanics of Gohan and of the transformation are the exact same. You can't deny that. And this might be where most people disagree with me, but I actually think the buildup was there in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie. It's just kind of subtle that you have to pay attention to it. Gohan is obviously slacking on his training again with his research over the Super Saiyan bug. And he's falling back into that same typical Gohan pattern that we've seen multiple times now. He has the power, he has the natural talent, but he's not using it. And then we introduce a slightly more grown-up version of Pan. Gohan actually has something to protect and care about, something that's personal to him. And then there's always been Piccolo, who's always been close with Gohan. Piccolo spends the entire movie pushing Gohan to train, do this and that, and you know how it goes. And not only that, but his whole Pan kidnap plan was literally to push Gohan, to get his power back out. In my opinion, that's not random at all. It's literally setting him up for the movie. People who say he was an asshole haven't seen the movie. So of course, when Piccolo dies or appears to die in front of Gohan, that's his trigger. I mean, he's already emotionally built up from the thought of Pan being kidnapped. He got his old powers back, and now his master, basically his second father, has seemingly died in front of him. Of course he's gonna snap. This moment didn't come out of nowhere. We built up to this. And for literal decades, Dragon Ball has spammed that mechanic for Gohan. That is how he operates. But just because it was condensed into a movie and there was no long arc for the people to watch, people are calling it an asshole, and I hate that. So no, Beast Gohan is not at all a cop-out or an ass pull or whatever you want to call it. It follows Gohan's character perfectly. It It follows Dragon Ball's formula perfectly. The only issue you could complain about is the speed in which it happens in the movie. The moment needed more time with more buildup and more real weight to it, because the idea of it itself makes total sense. They just didn't execute it perfectly for y'all to understand. But maybe in the Dragon Ball Super Season 2 Dragon Ball Super Superhero arc, they will make this a little bit more fleshed out and make it make more sense for Gohan to go Beast in that moment. I'm really hoping so, at least. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Dragon Ball just got an ass pull by making Beast Gohan? Or did I change your perspective a little bit? Let me know in the comments below, because I read and react to every single one. And if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe. It only takes a moment, but helps me out tremendously. And if you think Beast is a problem with modern Dragon Ball, you need to click the video on the screen right now of the true issue with Dragon Ball Super, the villain problem. I'll see you guys in the next video.